In this video, we're going to cover 10 tips and tricks to help you have a successful Q4. But before we jump into it, I just want to address something that I know I struggled with my first Q4. If you're watching this video when it comes out, it's the first week of November, and we've already gotten through the first month of Q4 being October. Did it go the way you expected, or did you not make as many sales as you had hoped? Do not be deterred if you did not make as many sales as you hoped. I started my shop in October, and so I don't really consider that first year my first Q4 because I really didn't have time to prepare for it. I did manage to get $1,046 revenue that year. The following year, my true first Q4, and I wound up with $58,912 as my revenue. But the majority of that revenue came the first 2 weeks of December, which I'm going to talk a little bit about. So if your October did not go the way you had hoped, don't fret because your Q4 could still help you hit that home run you were hoping to hit. These tips and tricks will help you, and stick around to the end because number 10 is the one that specifically helped me to achieve what I achieved, that Q4 that I went through about a year into the growth of my shop. First on our list is mindset, and this is not to be overlooked because your effort level is dependent on your mindset. If you're not in the right mindset, you won't be willing to put the amount of effort in that needs to happen. Q4, make no doubt about it, is an opportunity to make a lot of money. People are out there, they are buying gifts, they are spending more money during this time of the year than they are at any other time of the year. They are buying more things for themselves than they normally would, and they are buying lots of gifts for others. They are not making as many decisions based on budget as they are throughout the other times of the year. Last year and the year before that, more than half my revenue was made in my Etsy shop during the months of October, November, and December. As far as mindset, do not get bogged down with thoughts of, oh, but there's already so many options out there. It's saturated. No, it's not. There is space for you. The trick is just to learn how to make things that people want to buy and how to stand out in the market, which actually aren't very hard to do. And I will go more into that in just a bit. If you are having an inner dialogue with yourself while you're trying to design and you're telling yourself, oh, but no one's going to see this. It's going to be on page 15. Oh, no one's going to buy this. There's already too many options out there. Then say to yourself, replace those words with, every time I design something, I learn something new and get closer and closer to making the kinds of things people want to buy. I am no different than you, and I have definitely had all of those thoughts. And that first Q4, when I say my first Q4, I'm talking about that one that I was a year in. That first real true Q4 that I had, I certainly felt that way all through October and November, and I just kept going and I kept trying to reset my mindset. With these kinds of statements, I would replace negative things I was saying with positive things of just helping me to embrace the idea that I'm just not there yet. Thank goodness I did that because, as I mentioned, it was the first 2 weeks of December where some things finally clicked and I finally was able to make something that a lot of people wanted to buy. Tip number 2, make sure that you are participating in Etsy's holiday sales events. So this snuck up on me and I actually missed out on the first 2 days of this and my sales did dip. Now I feel like I'm back to where I thought I would be. To participate in Etsy's early holiday sales event, you have to schedule a sale of at least 25%. I believe last year it was 20%. But Etsy apparently did some research that suggests sales of 25% or higher convert better into a sale, which is why they made that their threshold. So if you want to participate in this early holiday sales event, you will need to have a sale of at least 25% running from the 24th through the 17th. Again, I was a few days late to it, but I have my sale set now out to the 17th so that I am participating in that sales event. You could pick the listings you want included in your sale or run a sale in the whole shop for the sales event. Then I'm planning on getting in on that Cyber Week traffic as well. So I'm going to join Etsy's Cyber Week sales event. In order to participate in that, you have to schedule a shop-wide sale, and that's got to run from the 18th through the 30th. So I wouldn't be running daily sales or anything like that during that time. I'm going to place a sale for my entire shop that gets me into that sales event by putting the end date out to the 30th. If your pricing structure doesn't afford you to offer a 25% discount, you can mass edit your prices, you would go to your listings page, and toward the top, you can select the listings that you want to adjust, or you can select your entire shop, and then you can adjust prices by a percentage or by a dollar amount. The benefit of taking advantage of this is that Etsy is going to promote those listings more, and customers can also find you in the Etsy deals tab if they're looking for those deals. Tip number 3 is Etsy ads. Now, I don't necessarily suggest, if you're new, that you run Etsy ads, because you want to make sure that your items are optimized. So you have good SEO, good search engine optimization, phrases in your title and in your tags, and even more importantly than that, that you've figured out how to make good designs. When you first get started, at least for me, when I first got started, my designs were not good. They weren't good at all. And when I look back at all of the designs that I made at the beginning, had I been running ads on those designs, I would have been throwing money out the window. I had to learn how to make good designs first. Only way you're going to do that is just get in there, get your hands dirty, put some elbow grease in, and start designing. I am going to link this video down in the description below so you know if you're ready for ads or not. You'll want to watch that one next before you start running ads if you haven't dabbled with this yet. Or if you've dabbled with it and you're not profitably running ads, you'll want to watch that video. I'm also going to take a second right now to invite you to be a subscriber if you aren't already. If you are looking for how to make more sales, I'm working on a video now that will be coming out next week, and I'm super excited to share it with you guys because I'm going to do a deep dive into specific examples of the different levels of design and how much money those types of designs have made me in my own shop. There is like the easy, like I'm just going to regurgitate what I'm already seeing and I'm going to make it look a little different. That's not going to make you a lot of money, but that's where most people start out, and that's okay. That's normal. You don't want to stay there. And then I'm going to show you the different levels and right on to the progress of how I came up with that design that made me so much money in that first Q4. In December, I set something out toward the end of November that sold like wildfire. And I have been able to do this same process in my designing time and time again. It is a recipe for how to add value to the market. And it works, and that's what makes me the most money in my shop. Putting ads on listings that have great market research behind them and great design technique behind them, that's where the magic happens, and that's where the ads can get very profitable for you. Number 4, make sure you're managing expectations. Be sure that your estimated delivery windows on your storefront, on your Etsy storefront, are correct. Be checking with your print provider. Make sure that you are communicating the right estimated delivery windows. Your print profile, if you created your own on Etsy, you want to make sure that you're keeping it updated, because that is how Etsy is figuring out the estimated delivery windows for your shoppers, and that's what they're showing in your shop, and your shoppers are going to expect to get their items within that estimated delivery window. Again, that's coming from your print profile and what you put in there for your production times and for your shipping times. There is no point in creating angry customers that aren't getting their items on time, and then they're leaving you a bad review, or they're demanding that you give them a refund. So just be sure that those are up to date. Also, make sure that you are adjusting the opacity on your mock-up photos. So you want the mock-up photos to be nice and bright, like the actual t-shirt or the mug, but you want to take the design down just a little bit. I usually have mine at 93 to 95%, and that usually does the trick. Otherwise, the design looks super bright, and you're gonna wind up with customers saying to you, this looks faded, it doesn't look like what the picture shows, and you want to avoid problems like that. Number 5, communicate. And this kind of has 2 parts. The first part, keep an eye on your messages. If someone is reaching out and trying to get a hold of you and they're like, oh, this design is awesome, I love this shirt, do you do it on a sweatshirt? Now list it on a sweatshirt. Or I get questions all the time about how to purchase or how do they add more than one thing to the cart, especially at this time of year, because there's a lot of new shoppers that aren't seasoned Etsy shoppers, and so they get stuck in the process here or there, and they might reach out to you asking for information, whether it be what type of product you use, or how do I add more than one to the cart, or how do I personalize this, or can I personalize this? If you reach out back quickly, you'll be able to grow your shop during this period of time, because you're going to be the one closing that deal. So if you're not reaching back out to them until 5 hours later, and that happens. Maybe you're at work and you can't. That's okay. But if you can, go ahead and answer them, because they might have reached out to some other shops and now some other shop gets to close that sale. So when you're in that growth period of trying to really grow your shop, getting in and just getting those deals closed and being the shop that gets to make that sale is going to help you. Also, they give you good ideas for new listings. So, hey, I love this. Can you do it on a sweatshirt? Let them know, hey, yeah, I could do that on a sweatshirt. I'll have this time this afternoon or tomorrow to go ahead and do that, and I'll send it your way. And that way they're more likely to purchase it from you. The second part with this communication piece is to make sure that if something is out of stock, you communicate it to them. If something is running late, you are communicating that to them. They left a note at checkout that, hey, can I get this by such and such a date? Communicate to them whether or not they can. You're going to avoid a lot of headaches if you are very proactive with communicating any issues that you see arising. If they reach out and they're upset about something, communicate with them right away. I know it's easy, especially the first few times that you have someone reach out to you and they're not happy about something. It's kind of like, oh gosh, I want to avoid this. The faster you reach out, the better it is for you. Even if you can't take care of it right away. When I was teaching, I would still be at school and I wouldn't really be able to look up what the issue was with their delivery or whatever the problem was that they were having with their order. But I would just message them back either during lunch or during specials, and I would say, hey there, I saw that you sent this message. And I'd let them know, hey, I'm a school teacher, I'm at school right now. And then I would let them know that, hey, I'll be home around such and such a time and I'm gonna have a chance to look into this for you. I'm so sorry there was any frustration on this. I just wanted to let you know that I did see your message and I am going to take care of this for you. Number 7, let's talk about the concept of momentum for a second. If this is your Q4 and October didn't go as exciting as you had hoped, that's partly because you have no momentum coming into the holiday season. Perhaps you gained some momentum in some other niches. For myself, I had gained momentum in the teacher niche. My first Q4, but I had no sales history in Christmas or Halloween, and so I was just hustling as fast as I could trying to get some of those designs out there. I also had started later than I should have, not realizing how I should have really started back in July, but I was late to everything that first year and didn't really start pumping it out until maybe September and got really serious then, which was a little late to the game. Which is why I didn't experience much success until all the way those first 2 weeks of December. A big part of being successful in Etsy is the momentum factor here. So if it hasn't gone as good as you thought it would up until now, just know that you are still working on gaining that momentum and it can still happen. Also know that when you get through to the other end, whatever sales velocity you have been able to muster up for yourself during Q4, that can help propel you next year. You can expect a dip in January, but a faster climb back up. And wherever you fall in January, it will still be at a jumping off place that will have been better than had you not gained momentum during Q4. Let that be something in the back of your head that motivates you to work hard for this next month so that you can take as many swings at that as you can to get some really good selling designs out there. Because if you can get that momentum going, that is going to help you throughout your growth for next year. It's going to set you up in a whole new place. Number 8, don't underestimate the idea of giftable items. Q4 isn't only about holiday themed items, it's also about giftable items. Think about the niches that you have been working in throughout the year. Hopefully you've picked a couple of evergreen niches. That means a niche that sells throughout the year. We'll talk teacher for a second. That's one of my evergreen niches. And so during Q4, I do have Halloween designs and Thanksgiving designs and Christmas designs for teachers in my shop. But I sell just as many items that are meant to be gifts as I do holiday themed. So think about the niches that you're in, and you might need to get a little specific with these kinds of things. So for example, with the teacher niche, The things that sell really well are an item for a science teacher or a math teacher or a social studies teacher or a history teacher. Students and their families are looking to purchase something special for those teachers. Something that really encompasses who that teacher is and what they're passionate about. So that might be a shirt or a mug that's about the subject that that teacher is teaching about, or perhaps an ornament. I'd say that I would average about 3 ornaments from students every single holiday season. I was a 4th grade teacher, and I'd say about 3 of my students would give me ornaments, and they were all personalized. They would say my name on them or something with my name and the student's name. Giftable items make a ton of money on Etsy throughout the year, but obviously during Q4, mega bucks in that arena. If you are in the teaching niche or thinking about adding that to be one of your niches, I do have a resource that I created. I'll leave it linked down in the description, where I go through an entire year's calendar of the different kinds of things you can make for teachers, the different kinds of designs to hit, the different kinds of events to hit, the different kinds of directions you can go when you are thinking in terms of gifts, things that you probably haven't thought of, and things that will help you stand out from the market. Number 9, do not be afraid of high competition. So if you're sitting here thinking, oh, should I make that shirt with a family's last name on it for Christmas? There's so many of those. It's so much competition there. Yes, make it. High competition also means lots of demand. And that's where that comes into play, where I hope that if you're looking for a way to stand out in a market and make your designs visible and help people to stop scrolling, and you need help with that, and you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe, because that's going to be the next video that comes out. And if you're one of my subscribers, we'll get to do that together soon. If you are finding value from this video, please take a second to go ahead and boop the like button. That really indicates to me that the audience that we've built here and the community that we've built here is enjoying this content, and it helps me plan future content for you. Before we move on to number 10, just want to reiterate number 9 real quick. High competition means lots of demand. Lots of demand means lots of possible shoppers, and then the trick is to simply figure out how to stand out from the market through compelling designs and perhaps personalization. And of course, niching down. So from our teacher example, people aren't normally buying their teachers during the holidays something that says teacher, but they're buying something for that science teacher that taught them about moon phases, and now they've got this really funny item that they can give to their teacher with a funny phrase about moon phases. That's one way to niche down. Number 10, don't start too late. Get your designs out there on time in order to do well. And don't stop designing and listing too early for Q4. At this point, it's the first week of November. It's too late. If you started late, you started late. We can't go back, and we can't undo that. But don't be disheartened. Keep going all the way up. I keep going all the way up till Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That advice was given to me that first year, and I will, from the depths of the most genuine part of my heart, suggest that to you. It was a game changer moment that first year that helped propel my business faster the following year. Now, even if I had not picked up the steam I did that first year, I was still doing well. In total, I made about $12,000 profit from my Q4 sales. But $6,000 of that profit came from one listing that I put out there Black Friday weekend. I was on my way home from school it was about a week before Black Friday, and I was trying to figure out, okay, I'm not going to put anything else out that's holiday themed. That ship has sailed. What should I work on now? And I was listening to my content creators on YouTube, trying to figure out what niche should I want to design in. And the voice on the Jeep radio said, I implore you, keep designing for the holidays all the way up till Black Friday weekend. And so I said, okay, I got one more week then. I went home, I continued working on this. It was a design that I came up with and put out that weekend that took off. It took off at the last second. It was very new to the market, which is what I'm going to show you how to do in our next video. It was very new to the market. There was nothing else out there like it. And it was too late for anyone to copy it, because at that point, By the time it got its bestseller badge, which it did very quickly, it was too late for anyone to copy it that year. And then I was able to start making sales from that item as early as July the following year, because that item had such a sales velocity that it was able to sell very early in the season the following year. It was the only item that I sold from early in the season the following year. As early as July, it started selling again. So that is the power of momentum. Know that if you feel like you're in the struggle bus, you are not the only one. Keep going. That was a pivotal moment in my Etsy growth. And I could not encourage you more wholeheartedly to continue designing and to continue creating and taking swings at bat all the way up until Black Friday weekend. If you feel like you need some additional support for Q4, some additional ideas, scalable phrases, listing dates, and a guide to lots of the niches that sell during Q4, then I did put a resource together. You might want to check it out, and I will link it down below. Bonus tip, have a plan for an influx of orders. That first year when those influx of orders came, those first 2 weeks of December, I had 2 credit cards I was using that were both maxed out. Luckily, I did have a backup credit card that I didn't really want to mix my business purchases on, but I had to because the other 2 had gotten maxed out. If I had not had that as a backup, I would have been calling my mom or my dad to see if I could borrow one of their credit cards for a few weeks. So do kind of keep that in mind. It's a great problem to have. Just have it in the back of your mind. How are you going to deal with that if it happens to you? And I do have more tips on that actually, and I'll link a video at the end so that you can listen to that one next. But not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.